Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my refreshed Werewolf Tornado build. This is S tier and I'm excited to show you what we've done. As always, I will cover every single facet of this build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now the skills I'm using for this Werewolf Tornado are Tornado, that's the main damage dealer. Storm Strike as our generator, which you shouldn't have to use very often. Blood Howl, Cyclone Armor, Debilitating Roar, and of course, Grizzly Rage. Now, this is a small refresh from the guide that I wrote on Icy Veins for preseason. I wanted to make sure it was updated and it had a corresponding YouTube video, and it is functioning very, very well, especially with using the Force Heart, which pulls all the enemies in, so it just makes it really easy to hit them with your tornadoes. Right now, at time of recording, level 83, so only level 83, and these enemies are 104? 104. And as you can see, life is barely moving. These enemies just get killed so easily. This is the type of build, if geared out correctly and leveled correctly, you can do Nightmare Dungeon pushes 90 plus. That is how strong this S tier build is. So we'll play a little gameplay for a little bit here so you could see how it functions, and then we'll go fight a boss and you'll see how fast that boss dies. I love me some D4 Werewolf. So if you haven't played Tornado, this might be the build for you. Now, unlike the build I posted a few days ago, this does not use Shred. There's two different versions that I have. This is Werewolf Tornado, and the other build is Shrednado. Shrednado focuses on poison. This does not. We'll give you a couple of options out there. A lot of people like this one. This is probably one of my #1 builds. All right, you get the point. You've seen enough gameplay. Everything dies and you just bounce around. Let's go fight a boss. All right, here we go. Come on, pop out of there. Tomb Lord, level 99. Level 99 Tomb Lord at level 83. Come on, trying to disappear on us. Tomb Lord, you are dead. Seriously, so freaking easy. Let me show you how to recreate this build. So let's start off with the skill tree and we'll go through this one by one. So when you're looking at your generator, which you will use, but not super often, you're gonna take Storm Strike and you only need 2 points in here. So Storm Strike and Enhanced Storm Strike. You shouldn't have any problems making enemies vulnerable, but if you do, you can throw an extra point in Fierce Storm Strike. As we move down, obviously our main damage dealer, you want as many points into Tornado as possible, and you want to take Raging Tornado. This is where you're going to get a big source of your vulnerability, this and your exploit glyph. You also want 1 point into Heart of the Wild, 3 into Wild Impulses. Since we don't worry about Spirit, we want those tornadoes to hit as hard as possible. As you move down, you want 3 points into Predatory Instinct for the crit chance, and then 3 into Gate so you move quicker. As we move down to defensive skills, this build loves defensive skills. You want to take Cyclone Armor, and for here, you want Preserving Cyclone Armor, which is going to give you damage reduction. As you move down, you want to take Blood Howl, and we're taking Preserving Blood Howl for the boost to attack speed, and we are taking Debilitating Roar, and this is going to be a Werewolf skill, and we're taking Preserving Debilitating Roar. We also have 1 point into Fortitude and 3 into Vigilance. Vigilance is going to be proccing all the time to give you damage reduction because you're using 3 defensive skills, so this will be pretty much permanently up. As we move down, 3 points into Nature's Reach, which is going to give you some added damage to distant enemies because tornadoes fly around. As we continue to move down, 3 points into Elemental Exposure, help with vulnerability, and then 1 point into Neurotoxin, 3 into Envenom, and 1 into Toxic Claws. Pretty much basic setup for non-poison. As you go right here, Grizzly Rage, just staple to the build, would not function without it. You have to take this, and it is so good. Even after that they lowered the time you can stay in Grizzly Rage, it is still amazing. You want 3 points into Defiance, 1 point into Circle of Life, 3 into Resonance. And then down here for your Keystone passive, you want to take Earthen Might. Now, we have tested this build over and over again using Perfect Storm, and there is a version you can run with Perfect Storm and Hurricane, but right now I still like this version better with Earthen Might. Those are the skills. Moving over to the Spirit Boons. Now, at the top for Deer, you want to take 1 point into Wariness. Everybody takes this point because it's the best damage reduction from elites. Under Eagle, we want 1 into Talons and 1 into Wrath. This is going to give you crit chance and crit damage. Under Wolf, we want 1 point into Calamity, which is going to extend your ultimate skill, Grizzly Rage. And then under Snake, you want 1 point in Calm Before the Storm, which is going to help you with your cooldown of your ultimate, which is Grizzly Rage. Moving over to our newly upgraded min-maxed Paragon board, we're using 6 different boards, and every glyph and every rare node it's going to get its bonus. It is truly a thing of beauty. Now, before I show you this, again, second link in the description is the full 4,000 word written out guide on Icy Veins. So if you have any questions, if you want to know why we took what, you will see the written guide there, and it should help further explain things. Now let's go through each board one by one. For your starting board, we are going to take Territorial. Give you a second to screenshot it if that's what you are doing. Moving over to board number 2. For here, we're using Inner Beast, and the glyph we are using is Werewolf. Got it? Moving over to board number 3, we are using Lust for Carnage, and the glyph we are using is Undaunted. And then we are headed down to Thunderstruck, and the glyph we are using here is Earth and Sky. Moving over to the right, board number 5, where you're taking Survival Instincts, and we need some of these nodes to get our bonuses, but we really need the fortified damage reduction. And it's not a huge cost to go right. Board number 6, we're going to Heightened Malice, and we are using Exploit. And I misspoke earlier, board number 7, not 6 boards, 7 boards. We're using Constructing Tendrils, and here we are taking Spirit. Moving over to everyone's favorite gear, starting with Gems and Hearts. Now for our weapon, we want to use an Emerald, unequivocally the best in slot. For our armor, you want to use the Sapphire. That's going to give you damage reduction while fortified, and you're going to be fortified the whole time. Now when it comes to Hearts, I have made a decision to pull the Barber out of every single build that I use. Because the Barber is bugged, it's not really working correctly, I've just chosen to pull it out of the build. You can use it if you want. Nothing wrong with that, but just letting you know, if you're wondering why the Barber isn't in here, it's acting a little funny, okay? Just gonna leave it at that. The hearts I currently have in here, one is Force. It's gonna pull enemies to you when you have Grizzly Rage active. We're using Fate, which is gonna give you a big boost to your critical strike damage. And we're using Pack, which is gonna give you attack speed, resource, and barrier for some survivability. Again, you can use Barber if you want. I just choose not to. Now, this build, when we look at aspects and uniques, Tempest Roar is required. If you build this and you're like, man, why is it not working? If you do not have this helmet, Tempest Roar, this build will not work, okay? I know some people found 100. Some people can never find it. I hope you can find it. We'll go through one by one. Aspect of Might, basic skills give you damage reduction. Aspect of the Storm, Earthen Key passive also applies to Storm skills. You have to have this. Pants, we're using damage reduction while you shapeshift into a wolf. Boots, debilitating roar. This is what allows it to become a werewolf skill. For our weapon, we're using Tornado, seek 3 targets. Amulet, we're using Dire Wolf. It's going to give you movement speed, damage reduction, spirit. For rings, we're taking Grizzly Rage duration. This is Werebeast. For our second ring, we're taking Night Howler's aspect. This is going to give you a boost to your critical strike chance when you use Blood Howl. And for our offhand, we're using Aspect of Retaliation, which your core skills are going to deal increased damage based upon your Fortify, and you are going to have a lot of Fortify. That is the gear. Last but not least, let's talk gear stats. And on the written guide for Icy Veins, everything is listed in order in a nice graph. So if you want to go there as well, it will show you it and order the affixes. So for helmet, where you're using Tempest Roar, so there's no affixes needed, just go and find that. For chest armor, we are using damage reduction and rank to cyclone armor. For gloves, you want to find ranks to tornado, crit chance, and attack speed. For pants, we're going quad damage reduction, and remember, damage reduction to injured was not nerfed. So you can still get a ton of damage reduction while injured. On boots, we're taking cost reduction, movement speed, and again, damage reduction while injured. For amulet, we want cooldown reduction. We want ranks to envenom passive. We want defensive skills and damage reduction while injured. For rings, the exact same. Vulnerability damage, crit strike, crit damage, and critical strike damage in Werewolf. They're identical. For weapon, you want vulnerability damage, crit damage, willpower, and damage to close. And lastly, for our offhand, you want cooldown reduction, crit chance, spirit cost, and willpower. If you want to see these all put in order and more than 4 affixes, check out the written guide. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my refreshed Werewolf Tornado? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I could do to push this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. 2 asks at the end of the video. Ask number 1, I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. Hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it, but of course, only if you think I deserve it. And if I haven't earned it yet, I'm gonna work harder for you. Ask number 2, check out my Patreon. Thank you to the first 82 members that have signed up. Become an instant ARPG VIP and get Patreon exclusive content at the first link in the description. I get asked all the time, Aaron, what is the best way to support? And Patreon is it, and you get a lot of added benefits. We have 11 written guides on Icy Veins, over 4,000 words. They are all linked in the description. Check them out if you are looking for anything other than Werewolf Tornado. That's all I've got. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.